Hi guys, welcome at Kerckx Tutorials. My name is Jelger, and in this Photoshop tutorial I'm going to show you how to cut out hair on a realistic way. So, to demonstrate how to do it, I took this image of a girl in bikini on the beach with her hair being blown aside by the wind, so that's quite hard to make this selection and remove the background so you can put her in front of something else. Now, we're going to look into how it is possible to do so and how it's possible to do so that it seems realistic. And well, after this tutorial you are supposed to be able to do it yourself. Let's get started. To start with, we're just going to make a selection. So we take the quick selection tool, you can find it over here, and just select her. And it doesn't really matter how good or how bad the selection is. Press Alt, you see the minus and the square brackets to make the brush a bit smaller or a bit bigger. Now, well, it's not really about the body itself, so we just leave it that way. Minus, now this is not really that important because we're gonna adjust this with our selection tool we will be using later, the refine edge. So this doesn't really matter how close it is. Well, let's get going with the refine edge tool. You can find it over here when you have the selection tool selected. And of course, what we're going to have to do is work in a new layer. Oh, sorry. The background layer, only make a new layer of it. You never work in the original layer because if you screw up, you screwed up the original photo. Now, let's go to the refine edge. Now this is the result of the selection we just made. Well, this is not what we want, obviously, because this looks like can I say crap? I can say crap. So you have a few viewings mode. We have to view against well, a white background on white. Let's start from top. This one is actually just the original picture. Now we're not going to use that because that's useless. This with overlay, so you can actually see what parts are not made free yet. That's quite handy, and we might use it on the end. On black, it's useful for some selections, but because this is dark hair and stuff, well, on black isn't really great. On white will be better to make the selection. And what I think, well, is a great tool, and we will be using, is to refine edge black and white. And then you have the on layers. Well, this is handy if you have another layer behind it, you want to put her in front, but we don't have that other layer, so we're not using this. And this is the reveal layer, just to show it all. Well, now let's first start with the black and white. Okay, now if you just go slide the radius to the right or use the smart radius, you see that, you know, it's getting softer and softer. And now the problem with the image I took is probably that it's way too big, but that's okay because I know the radius or the edge detection tool still works. I just have to slide it pretty far to the right. What you see now is you see a lot of hair selected. You also see these parts are being a bit brownish. We don't want that actually, so we have to be checking out the smart radius, and that looks a bit better because now you see everything is white. The only thing now is that there's some hair that disappeared again, but that's not really a problem because we will be using the brush we've got here to make it visible. And this means that we're just gonna brush the edges a bit, make the brush a bit bigger, and there you got it. You see what you're trying to show. Now if you use the overlay, you can see that even better. Now this is what we want to have free. So as you can see now, the red is over the hair, and we don't want it. We want the hair visible. So just brush around it and Photoshop will do the rest. And there you go, just a bit like this. And well, just follow the lines of her head, because there are some hairs over here and you actually want to pick them as well. Now check for this. Great. Okay, I think I like it. Now just release, and Photoshop thinks, oh, this is what you want. Now this is great actually. This is what we're looking for. Well, you know, it's maybe it's not everywhere as great as you want. You can try it again. Now let's see how it looks on white. This is how it looks on white. So as you can see, this is not really how hair looks in the real well, in real life. So let's see, maybe if we can slide a bit over here, we can make some small adjustments. I just choose OK, and here we have the selection made. Now make sure here at the refine edge at the bottom it said selection. Now we have a selection, and well, we want to work in it. As you can see, it didn't pick up all the hair, so but don't worry, because it did. It only, you know, it can show it in the selection itself. So we are going to make a mask, and now the mask actually doesn't show the background. That's black, so it only shows the girl and the hair. Now we can make a new layer to see how it works. Let's well, let's fill it with a color. Let's just pick something, maybe something that looks like her. I don't really like that color. You know what? Let's just pick a sample of her bikini, and that will always suit the image. You know, dress up the way it should. Now, this isn't really as you wanted it to be. So, how are we going to adjust it? Well, we're going to make a new layer on top of the layer of the picture. In this layer we will be brushing. So since we want to be brushing to remove the white that's surrounding the hair, and you know, make the black show more, we're going to use a darkened setting. And this image you want to only influence it on the image below. So that means that whatever you're doing here has to be happening in the mask as well. So right click, create clipping mask, and now you see this little arrow, and it shoved a bit to the right, and this means that everything you're doing in this layer now will be visible only in the hair part. So let's say, for example, I use a black brush, and I will be drawing. Now you can see it doesn't show anything in the pink part, but the hair becomes black. Of course, we don't want it to be black. Now you can be using brushes in different colors to do so, but there's a more easy way. Well, it takes some work, but it's more realistic, because we're going to use the clone stamp tool, and you find the clone stamp tool here. And now we take a sample in this picture, so make sure you're in that picture, and then we're going to brush it in this picture. Now, important here is that, for example, you see this hair is going a bit in this direction. So if you start cloning from here and you're using this to brush hair that's falling down, yeah, that means that that the image or the clone will be as if it's across that hair. So you want to have the hair, you know, if you want to do this, maybe you should take the clone from this part, just in the same flowing direction. Let's start with the hair here. Now, as you can see, that's quite dark. Let's keep it that way. Press Alt, take a sample somewhere. Let's just take a sample over here. And because it's that dark, it doesn't really matter, and it's only small hairs. And there you see what's happening is the hairs show up in the color that you like it to be. So now let's brush this a bit more, and let's see. So I think you're getting the point here. At least you must be getting the point here. Now this is a bit tricky because this hair is actually going up and there's no hair going up anywhere. So you have to figure out how to do it, and I think if I take a sample from here for this, it would be great, but I have to be careful for the light parts. I don't want the light parts to be used for it, so just take a sample there, go to the hair and just carefully brush it. And the same goes for this part. Oh. Now, and try to avoid brushing the hair itself. Really try to do it on the edges only. So, let's see. This is quite light, so maybe I should just pick it from over here. It's kind of flowing in the same direction. There you go. And as you see now, I'm picking up some light spots, and because I used to darken, the light parts will disappear, so you don't want to use too light, or you don't want to copy hair that is too light. And if you're using blonde hair, of course, you have, instead of using darken here, you will use lighten. But we are not using lighten. So let's see, what else do we want to do? Well, we have a bit of hair over there. There we go. Maybe we want to have this brushed a little more. Okay, so I say this is some hair we need to do, and after that it's done. Great, and there you have it. You can always make it a bit more perfect, but I think as you can see, this is pretty much what you're going for. Without the layer that I used the clone stamp tool on, it's actually looking a lot worse, as you can see, and with the clone stamp tool it looks a lot realistic. And if you use this in front of another picture, You will see it most likely looks a lot more real than it does if you don't use this step. I hope you find the tutorial useful and try it yourself, play with it a bit, and if you are able to do this, then, well, you can be proud on the hair you selected. Not all hair can be done this way. Well, most hair can, but you find for some hair, you know, depending on the colors, it's a bit different. And also, of course, the background. You know, for pictures you want to cut out the hair, always use a background that's one of the same or one same color, or at least colors that are different from the color of the hair. It's more like, you know, in the movie they use green screen to do this. Well, you will have to think in the same direction. Okay, I hope it was useful. I hope you managed to cut out your hair thanks to this tutorial. And I would like to thank you for watching. If you like the tutorial, I'd love to see you like, and I'd love to see you subscribe.